What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Feels like forever since I've been here. I know it's only been 1 week that I took off, but it feels like forever. So hopefully, I still know how to use everything here. All right, guys, let's roll right into this thing. Thank you as always for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for subscribing, for following along on Facebook or on Spotify or however you're listening, whether it be YouTube or whatever. I definitely appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, and share, that really helps the channel get out to more like-minded investors that are, just trying to make a couple bucks. And that's why we're all here, right? So, yeah, I was actually out of town. We took a little family trip. We went out to Lake Tahoe, and the market opens really early out there. I kind of forgot about that time change and just how much that throws off your market, right? So when it opens 9:30 here on the East Coast, it's actually 6:30 out there. I wake up and the market's already rolling. So I did look at it a little bit. I try to be minimal, right? Minimal. I got other things going on. We were super busy doing whitewater rafting and boating. We did some tubing. We did some hiking. We did some paddleboarding, kayaking. We kind of did everything on the water that we could do. Cold water, but nonetheless, great time. But I did look at the market, and you guys, really, I was let down. I was really let down. I was watching the market just wither away to, it felt like nothing, right? This is the 5 day. So, yeah, this is all while I'm out there. I'm just watching money just get depleted while I'm already spending money on vacation. And this is when I got home, so you're welcome. I came back and the market goes back into rally mode. Coincidence? I don't think so. But yeah, Powell happened to say a couple things at the same time, whatever. But, I think it was me coming home. So anyhow, yeah, Powell came out and said, yeah, we're essentially going to get some rate cuts. And that is what drove the market higher, right? It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. But what he did say is the fact of, let me go ahead and share this one on Yahoo Finance. I clicked the wrong button. I told you I wasn't going to know what I'm doing. It's been a while. Yahoo Finance. We got NVIDIA earnings this week. That is the big thing on the market this week. In his speech, Powell highlighted that downside risks remain, or they are rising, while reasonable base case is the effects of tariffs on inflation will be relatively short-lived. I told client, that's Michael Ferroli, told clients in a note that Powell's comments indicated the door to a September cut opened wider, and market pricing in suggested as much. Investors were placing 85% odds on Friday that Fed will cut interest rates by a quarter percentage point at the September meeting. So that is what's driving the market. That is what is taking the S&P to back to an all-time high, right? Let's take a look at this. A 5-year. Yeah, we're up there, right? We are at that high, 64, 67. That is where we are at right now. So a lot of different things going on. And yes, there's some big names driving this. Some other ones fell off. And the first one I do want to take a look at real quick. I covered this one. I told you guys about this one. There's a lot of different things going on with Palantir. And a lot of it is just noise, right? It's simply noise. So this thing had got up to 190. I had that covered call that expired on the 5th, I want to say, of August, and that was at a 160 strike price. So if I would have wrote that covered call to expire on the 22nd, which was 2 days ago, rather than on the 5th, I would have kept my shares, right? But because I didn't, and because it was a little bit earlier, and it ran up to 190, I sold those shares. But I did say that this thing is going to be volatile. I've said that. The earnings are great. The rule of 40 is still in effect. But if one of those things gets, missed, if we don't hit perfect numbers, if we don't have that rule of 30 with revenue and earnings and everything else in place, and margin's going to be in place, this thing is going to fall. And none of those even happened, right? None of that happened. What had happened is a couple people said that this is the most overvalued stock ever in the stock market. They hyped it. A lot of hype pieces about how overvalued it is. We got some price targets coming in saying that this thing, even on the best day, should be valued at like 38 or some crazy number. And it is. It's yeah. RBC says it's a $45 price target. Insane. I can't see that happening. Do I think that it's very frothy? Yeah, I do, but I don't think we're going to be cut down to 45. Even if on paper some of the metrics, if some of the PEs make it look like a fair valuation of say a 35 PE or a 40 PE brings it down to that price point, there's too much growth going forward for the market to even allow that to happen as far as I can see and with the numbers that they continue to post up. So a lot of things here. This one is actually old. This is from the 5th. But nonetheless, I know someone else came out and said, hey, this thing's overvalued. I don't know if it's one of these analysts on here. I saw a quick, blip on one of these articles that said Palantir is just way too expensive. And I'm not going to argue that. That is one of the reasons that I had written a covered call on this position at 160. Simply, I thought it had just gotten too far over its skis. And I thought if it did get to that point, and when I wrote Palantir, I normally look for like a 10% gain on these covered calls. So it was probably in the low 140 range. I wrote it for 160 about 4 to 6 weeks out. And if it was going to run up another 10 or 15% in that short amount of time, I would sell some shares. That's exactly what happened. So do I think that Palantir is a buy, a sell, a hold at this place or at this price? Man, that's a tough call. That really depends on your risk assessment, where you think Palantir is going to go, where you think the market's going to go. For me, I believe my recent purchase was in the low 150s or in the high 140s. I did take advantage of this dip while I was on vacation. I clicked buy. I think I set a limit at some point. I might have not. I was buying and selling some stuff while I was there. Just throw in a couple orders in the morning when I got up before everyone else, when I had my coffee at 6:45 or 7 in the morning. And I kind of let it ride. So anyhow, I personally think that with me selling off $16,000 of Palantir, I was comfortable to add $1,600 back in, right? I'm not saying I'm buying that whole position back because I still think that it could go lower, but I did nibble at this, what was like a 40-point drop. And where was it? It hit down to 143 is about where I'm seeing it on this 5-day. And remind you, is at 190. So does that mean that it can't go lower? No, it doesn't. But I think that we had a lot of noise come in, and I wanted to take advantage of the fact that it dropped, 40 some points in that short amount of time. So that is what I did. Do I think that everyone should do it? No, I think you got to make your own decisions, but that is my play on Palantir. Going forward, one stock that, man, I think it was even back in 22, I was kind of pounding the table on Google. Man, Google was definitely in the headlines this week, and for a lot of good things. I got some notes here. First up, Apple was looking to partner with Google to use Gemini AI to power the revamped Siri. So it is not finalized yet, but Apple is looking to see, do we use our own product or do we use someone else's product that might be a little bit better? And they were looking at Google's Gemini in order to power some of their product, which would be massive, right? So Google has had a bit of a negative press here, right? We had OpenAI, we had the ChatGPT. It's going to steal all of search. Google wasn't really rolling out Gemini, wasn't really pushing it as heavy as what ChatGPT was. That was the big noisemaker in the room. And now that Gemini is kind of rolling out, doing better, search really isn't getting deteriorated. We got this great news from that potentially Apple could be a partner. We also got some other news from New York City, actually, right? We got Google owned Waymo actually got their first permit to allow Waymo to start testing their robo taxis in New York City. So again, potentially monstrous move there, right? I mean, that is one of the biggest taxi markets in the world. And the fact that Waymo is going to be one of the first movers in that market is massive, absolutely massive. So again, Google was, I'm going to try to take a look at this right on screen. So yeah, we got a PE of a 21 on a company that is, at the forefront of all things tech. I mean, this one trades cheap. And for a lot of time, people didn't want to look at this thing. It just had one thing or another. Search was going to be deteriorated or some other problem that Google really just couldn't get out in front of a lot of different things. So long term, I'm still here. Right now, there's only about 5% of upside. I'm not so worried about that. I think it goes much higher. I really do. We got a lot of buy ratings coming in. Bernstein is the only one on page one with the 185 hold price point. I don't see that holding up. I really don't. I really think that we can go 10% higher from here, somewhere in the 225 range, give or take. I think that's probably where we could go if a lot of these things start getting approved, right? If we do get Waymo accessing robo-taxis at NYC, if Apple comes out and says, hey, you know what, we are going to use Gemini, that's going to be massive. Still with search, with YouTube, with everything else, YouTube TV, all the different subscriptions, whether it be phones or, the suite of things that they have going on over there, I think there is a lot of room for Google to run. And this one has just been kept low. I mean, it's a solid stock with a 21 on the trailing 12 months. I mean, I really do believe that is super cheap for this thing. And I do believe it can go much higher. So I will take a look at the Refinitiv and just see what future earnings look like. I'll share this one. We've got buy rating, which we kind of already knew. We've got, did I pass earnings? No. We've got price target about 8% up here. We've got earnings per share. We were at 804 in 24. We're looking to go to 993 on the average in 25. And then up to about 1059 average for 2026. So that's double-digit growth across those 2 years. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, that's not too hateful on a company that is this size. So we've got forecasted revenue growth of 12% for 2025 and then 25% by the end of 2026. Let's just see where it is historically valued and then see if we can kind of make heads or tails there, right? So we're trading right now at a forward of a 20.2 and the 5-year average being a 22.9. So that is a 12% discount. So even if we just revert to the mean, if we revert to that average, we could see about a 12% gain. And then if a couple of these other things start going well, I think we start adding a lot of earnings if we get Apple on board buying Gemini from Google or Alphabet. And then if we have Waymo really start taking off, we got that. And then we also have the fact that Google and Meta signed a deal for Meta to use Google Cloud, their storage, their networking, and other services. That was a $6 billion deal that was just signed. So, man, there is a lot of earnings that is not baked into this as far as I can tell. So I think that Google could still be purchased here. It's still at a discount, and my phone always responds when I say that magic word, the G word. So I should just say Alphabet, but I historically call it the G word. And so I still think there's a ton of upside when it comes to Google stock. I think as far as long-term plays, they got a lot of things going for them, right? We got Waymo, we got AI, we've got search. It's still working. I don't think that it's just going to deteriorate as fast as people thought. And then you look at other news, right? Elon Musk approached Zuckerberg. Are we back? Yeah, we're back. Sorry. I got cut off there, and it came back right on the live stream. So we are good to go. But yeah, NVIDIA, a lot of different things you want to take into consideration. All those numbers I just rattled off. I'm not sure how much I got in there, but PEG ratio is not the whole picture. Price to sales is not the whole picture. We want to take a look at all these things, where the margin is, where the growth is. If the dividend is everything that we need, with 150% of dividend growth, it looks like NVIDIA is paying out this massive dividend, but it went from 2 cents or a penny and a half to 4 cents. It's not like it's gone up to, $4 per share. It hasn't. So take a look at that as well. It's like, will they increase the dividend? However, it isn't what you think it is. So you can't simply just look, they're increasing the dividend. That means I want to buy it, right? There's got to be more reasons than that. There's got to be something else that you want to take a look at and really know about the company before you simply just hit buy. So there's a lot of different things that I love about NVIDIA. There's really not much that I don't like. But yeah, you want to take all those different things into consideration before buying. And then I did say, and I was getting back to this one, AMD, I still think is in the beginning innings. It has come down, right? It was at 186. We're now sitting at 168. I think this one can still be purchased, right? Is it the screaming buy that it was at 80? No. And I mean, that was what, 4 months ago? It was firmly, very firmly in that buy everything you got, buy it all at 80 some dollars, right? So if you did, congratulations, man. You did really, really well in a short amount of time. And yeah, we were down here. We were at 78, and this is on April 8th, right? This was not long ago. So it is doubled, and I still believe we are in the early innings of what happens with their 350 series chips, their 400 series chips, and then what they can potentially sell to China. That is going to be the lower tier chips. So there is a lot of growth left for AMD. There's a lot of growth left for NVIDIA, and I mean, I think this is a long-term hold, and that's what it is for me. If it is for you, that's great. I think that it should probably be in your portfolio in some way, shape, or form, but you got to do that homework for yourself. So, all that being said, where do we want to look, right? I bought a little CrowdStrike while I was on vacation. I did. I bought some more shares of that. I still think that the end of the month, when does this thing report? About 18% upside right now. Do they report in the 27th? That's also this week. Oh, nice. I get to watch that one. I'm not going to buy that one. I'd like to see what happens on the 27th. It historically trades down after earnings. So I will look at that. Costco. This is just off of our investing challenge sheet from 2025. Costco. Do we really want to look there? I was saying I don't really like retail. Costco is a diversified retail with around 16% of upside. You normally do not see Costco with 16% of upside, and it is normally priced to perfection. So that is actually really attractive. I do like the fact that Costco has that much upside. I did buy some Next Era Energy. I still really, really like some utility plays and some dividend plays. That's around 3% of dividend yield. That was a nice add for me, a smaller portion that I added, but yeah, 3% dividend yield. I got that one. We got Lilly. We talked about that. That's got 30% of upside. We've got Amazon that I still really like long term. High was 242. We're sitting at 228. So we're off of the high, but not by a whole heck of a lot. 15% of upside there. Meta. Do we want to look at Meta? Let's just do a quick recap. I'm just going to run through them. 15.5% there. So that is looking close. Tesla's not going to have any upside. I already know that. We're going to be negative. Yeah, we're minus 10 on Tesla's upside. I'm going to let that come down. This was a big Friday. So I think it's probably on the back of Waymo getting that authorization to do some testing in NYC. I think that just opens a door for Tesla to then get in NYC also. So big day there. Rates coming down also would greatly help any of these tech stocks. NVIDIA, we're not buying simply because they are going to report this week. I don't want to do that. Bank of America, rates coming down could help them. This thing has had a pretty decent run as well. I don't want to buy that one. AMD, still like AMD. We looked at that one. The upside's not as much. You know, guys, I really... And I said I don't like retail, but I love Costco. And I think it is a pretty safe play here with 15% of upside. Let's take a look. Let's do this real quick. And sometimes this is why I want to take a look at each individual stock. I have a list of 13 here that we're simply just going to add for the year. We're going to see how it goes. So it's 13 stocks that I really like for the year. But it's also which one makes sense to buy on this given week, right? I still think Lilly is a great play. Like I said, I wanted to buy it a little bit cheaper. I do think we could have a little bit of a sell-off and go back into the sixes before we kind of track higher. So we've got... who else is buying this? We got someone selling. Suze Orman says Is this her favorite stock? I don't know. Well, I'm not going to look at that right now. We're going to look at analyst research. We got that 15.8. We just looked at that. But then who is coming out with these buy ratings? These are all recent. We got 11.14. We got 10.60. We got 11.30. And then a lot of those other ones get back into beginning of August, which we still have some buy ratings from the beginning of August in the 1100s. I do like that. Let's, I just clicked off of where I wanted to be. We had Refinitiv. I'm going to take a look there real quick and just see what the numbers look like before I go ahead and give this one the nod for, I don't even know what week we're on. We're cruising right along. It's back to school. We're going to have a crazy week. We've got 6 days of soccer this week. Oh, no, not this week. Next weekend is open. And then we get into 6 days a week of soccer. I decided to join a men's league team. So we are going to be just all in on soccer in a very short time. So we've got, what are the numbers here? Decent amount of growth, 8%, 16% by the end of 26. We've got dividend growth of 13%. Current dividend yield is only half a percentage point, so not much to write home about that. But I do like to see that it's a double-digit percentage growth on that dividend. It is trading at a premium, which I don't like this. But what does it look like on the PEG rate? No, I don't want that. 5.7 on the PEG ratio. So we are paying a lot for the growth that they are going to be turning in. That scares me away a little bit. So then if I'm not looking there, do we look at Lilly? Do we want to take a look at Meta or Amazon? Do I want to look at Alphabet without saying that G word? Man, I really do like Lilly. That is getting to be a very sizable position, close to what Amazon and Meta are for me, not quite at NVIDIA level. PE is expensive there. Let's take a quick look at what Refinitiv says here on some of these actual numbers. 5-year return to 376%. Couple downgrades, 25% of upside. Annual revenue up 37% and 61%. That's pretty solid. Dividend growth of 15%. Current dividend yield 0.9. So again, not anything that we're really buying for the dividend. Big discount on forward. I like that. We have steel on forward PEG of 0.7. Price to sales is under their 5-year average, barely. It's still high. But this is why I like this stock. They are turning in some great growth, and we aren't paying much on that PE basis right now, probably to do a lot with their orforglipron weight loss pill, not really turning in the results that the injectable had. But I still think that it's going to be a viable option. I still think that there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to be injected weekly or monthly to lose weight. I think they'd rather take a pill, whether it be daily or weekly or whatever. I still believe that that is probably going to be the way that a lot of people go if you just simply don't like needles, right? So I think someone is going to be fine with losing 12 or 14% of their weight, maybe not getting that 18% that the injectable or 18 to 20% that the injectable is doing, but it's going to have its use cases, right? So it might not be the end all be all. They're going to have two products, right? They're going to have the injectable. They're going to have the pill. So I do believe that that will still be a driver for them. Maybe not as much as we thought, but I still believe that this thing oversold, similar to what Viking Therapeutics did. I don't think it needed to go down 42%. I'm not advocating buying it, but maybe it should have gone down 15% and not 40%. So I still believe that Lilly is a great stock. I believe the pipeline is strong. I believe the management is strong. I believe they're stronger than Novo on management for sure. They're going to be larger with a bigger pipeline than Viking. And they're trading cheap, right? That PEG ratio is dirt cheap, even though some of the other numbers are a little bit strong. Forward PE's at a 26. I can deal with that. Trailing's at a 46. Dividend is about $6, which isn't much on a $700 stock. I think I'm going to add more Lilly. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't buy Meta, or you shouldn't buy Amazon, or even Next Era, right? I think they all make sense. And I think Alphabet makes sense. But for us, for right now, I'm going to be adding more of Eli Lilly, ticker LLY. Other news, right? I did increase my dividends, right? I've been looking to add to my dividends, right? And when I started this thing, I was barely in the 5 digit category on dividends, right around 10. I could probably take a look. I do have it written down in my handy notebook here. What do we have? So if I started this in how long did we start this? 22? 22, I was only at $8,200, and now I'm sitting right at $25,000 in dividend yield, right? And a lot of that is from those ultra high yield max dividends, right? Where you're paying or they're paying 120%, 160% in dividend. This is ULTY. They're paying 130%. And I did put it in my IRA to protect a lot of that. And then MSTY, MicroStrategy. It's going to be an option income strategy. So you're going to write covered calls. It's going to be leverage. It's going to be doing a lot of crazy things, and there's going to be a lot of volatility in it. But you are looking at a 159% dividend yield. So I did buy some more of that. I am trying to get that dividend yield higher. So between adding, the $200 a week to the investing challenge and then getting the $25,000 in dividends from my brokerage account, I mean, that's $35,000 a year that is going to be invested with, the $200 a week I'm comfortable with. We could probably bump that up. I'm not going to right now. If anyone's following along, we're going to keep it at the same right now. That does give me money to invest into my IRA on the side or not anything that we really talk about normally. And if there's any extra money, I put that into my brokerage. So that is what I've got. I'm still looking to be able to retire off a dividend sooner than later. I can't keep doing the same thing all the time. So I would love to get to the point where this is, at a point where it can replace my income, at least in some way, shape, or form. Give me some more time, get my time back by having my money work hard for me. So that is what I've got. That is what I'm looking at. I'm happy at that, right? It's not a brag. It's just something that I'm looking to do. I want to have more money in dividends. And if that can replace some of the time that I work, that would be awesome. So if you're following along, we're going to be buying more Lily. I'll probably add some more to MSTY somewhere, somehow. I'll probably be looking to buy some more Bitcoin. Ethereum, I did just see that Ethereum was kind of on trend for going up right now. I just want to pull up the crypto.com app. If you need links to get started, I do have links for E-Trade, for crypto.com, for Binance, for Webull. Webull's always got some awesome offers. Let's take a look here on crypto.com. Oh, come on. Market's closed. I don't need that. I just want crypto. Don't show me stocks. I don't need that right now. Market, where are we at? Large cap coins, Bitcoin's at 113. So that's down a little bit. And Ethereum is at 48.22. So that has been trending up, which is pretty awesome. That's what I got there. We're watching all that. We're watching to see what happens with NVIDIA this week. We are watching to see what happens with CrowdStrike. I will probably be buying more there. If that thing gives us any kind of discount, I will be adding there. NVIDIA is on the 27th. CrowdStrike is on... No, sorry, I didn't share. Also on the 27th. So we got two big names right there. Dell would be on the 28th, so they will be reporting then. Best Buy, BBY, one of my first jobs, by the way, if you were wondering. BBY is going to be reporting on the 28th as well. So a couple stocks we're going to be interested to see middle of the week, and Best Buy is actually trading at a 17.7 on the PE, so that's fairly cheap. 6% of upside. I'm not too concerned with that one. But anyhow, that is all the time I've got for you guys today. Thank you very much for stopping by. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. It definitely does help the podcast. And it's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on, I believe it's still on Apple. I think Spotify automatically links there. So that is what I got for you. Thank you very much for stopping by. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.